Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Rachel and today I'm sharing a what's for dinner video. Sometimes I don't know how I'm gonna get it all done each week, but coffee helps. Now let's get cooking. To start off this week's What's for Dinner video, I am using some odds and ends from my freezer and my pantry to get started. I had a half a bag of these cheese tortellinis in my freezer, so what I'm doing here is putting a little bit of water into my skillet and giving these tortellinis a head start before I add the rest of the ingredients. Now all I did was add some garlic powder and keep them moving. I didn't want them to sit too still or stick to the pan, so I just gave them a stir every now and then I added some chopped up onion that I already had in my refrigerator. Next, I'm going to dice up some smoked sausage into bite-sized chunks and then throw those right in the skillet with the tortellini. By giving those tortellini a little bit of a head start before I added this sausage, everything should get done at the same time now. I'm just going to throw in a bag of frozen broccoli florets that I also had in my freezer for a while and get those used up. And I'm just going to toss everything so that it can all get heated through and cooked at the same time. Now this was also my husband's birthday. His birthday happens to fall on the same day as our 4-year-old grandson's and his aunt. And then we also had Easter the same weekend. So I wanted to make sure that my husband had his own birthday cake or birthday dessert, and he said he wanted cheesecake, but with everything else that was going on, I knew I didn't have much time, so I am leaning on the help from this no-bake cheesecake box mix. And then because I am like always looking for some kind of shortcut, I found this graham cracker crust in my pantry, so that's what I'm using instead of the crust that comes in the box. I just put that aside and I'll use that at another time. So that went into the fridge to chill. And then we're going to switch back over to the skillet meal that I have going on. I am just adding some butter just to make it extra rich flavored, so to speak. I mean, butter makes everything better in my opinion. And then I'm just going to sprinkle on some of this beer can chicken seasoning. And I'm going to give it all a good stir. I'm not using any kind of like pasta sauce or Alfredo sauce. I just wanted the butter and the seasoning to kind of shine through. And then I'm just sprinkling some cheese on top of that. And then I'm going to stir it so it gets all nice and melty. And this actually was a really good dinner. It tasted really good, and considering I was just using up what was in the fridge and in the freezer, I'm really kind of pleased with the way this turned out. And so to finish up the birthday cheesecake, I'm just using the strawberry pouch that came with the Jello cheesecake mix, and I'm just going to spread that around on top, and then I'm going to top it with some whipped cream. I'm using sugar-free whipped cream because that makes it healthier, right? I mean, why not? So anyway, just after that I'm going to put it back in the fridge and we'll have that for dessert after dinner. For our next dinner, I am just using leftover taco meat that was also in the refrigerator. Now, this is so easy, don't blink or you might just miss it. So all I'm doing is putting a liner into my crock pot, and then I'm putting that taco seasoning into, or taco seasoned beef into my crock pot as well. Now this taco meat was pretty salty, so I did not add any other seasonings as far as salt or anything like that. And then I just added basically a whole can of beef broth because it was also in my fridge. I had used it to thin a sauce once last week, so there was quite a bit left. I then added 1 can of chili beans and 1 can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, and I gave it all a stir to get it all mixed up really good. And then all I'm going to do is add a couple tablespoons of chili powder, and that's all I did for the seasoning. I did throw in some of those chopped up orange bell peppers that I also had in a Ziploc bag in my refrigerator. I had used those before, so those were already chopped up. Like I said, this was super easy just to throw into the crock pot and forget about it. And it turned out perfectly. I just kept this crock pot turned down on low and just let it go all day. And so later that day when we got back home, dinner was served. It was a no-brainer. I really lucked out that this meat was already over-seasoned and I didn't have to add any other spices to it. We aren't really that big into a tomato sauce base in our chili, so the beef broth is what we use for the most part when we make our chili. And so this was probably we like our chili when it cooks low and slow like this, so it was probably one of the better pots of chili I've made in a long time. For the next super simple and easy meal, we just wanted to have some salads, but I know that my guys are not going to just eat salad and be satisfied. And also, after just getting over a big holiday weekend full of cooking and baking and all that fun stuff, I wanted something that would be really easy, so I just decided to grab some chicken strips and some popcorn chicken from the freezer aisle at Aldi's and heat those up to have along with our salad or in our salads. And that was what was for dinner that night. I also boiled up some eggs to go in the salads, or in my case, just to eat on the side. And then because of my health reasons, I cannot eat a traditional salad like everybody else in the family can. So I usually try to make my own version of a salad. And in this case, it is some chopped up avocado and some sliced up cherry tomatoes, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of this and a little bit of that to my little bowl here as well. I did add a couple of artichoke hearts, although I did find that they were a little bit hard on my stomach, so I won't do that again. I did end up having to pick those out and not eat them, but they sounded good at the time. I did use some of the knockoff Olive Garden dressing in my little bowl of salad. And then I just added some things like croutons and cheese and a little bit of bacon bits and things like that. For the rest of the family, I'm using this buffalo, I believe it's buffalo ranch chicken. Sorry. Salad kit from Aldi's, and my guys were just like really in love with the salad. My husband said it was the best, and so I will have to buy this again for him. I did add some cheese to it because I know that he likes a lot of cheese in his salads, and then I did slice those eggs up on top of his. And so next I'm just draining the juice out of a can of pineapple because we're going to have some cottage cheese and pineapple on the side of our dinner on this night as well. And then I'm just going to put a lid on this pineapple juice and reserve it so that I can use it whenever I make a sauce or whatever later on. And here is what my dinner ended up looking like with my popcorn chicken, my buffalo chicken strips, some sliced up egg, cottage cheese, and pineapple, and then my salad. Next, I'm using the frozen General Tso's chicken meal kit for our next dinner. My guys said they were okay with it, so I went with it because honestly, I had a very long week at work and I needed super simple, super easy this week. So I am cooking up a cup of white rice, and what I'm doing here is just toasting it in some butter. I didn't have any olive oil, so I just used butter and I toasted my rice, and then once it was all nice and toasty, I added the 2 cups of water to that, and then I added some garlic powder, and I just let that simmer, and then began adding the onions and chopped up bell peppers to my rice. Now, this is not a fried rice recipe per se. This is just a kind of stir-fried type of rice. I don't know, but it was just something we threw together on the fly, and it turned out really good actually. So all I did was cook those peppers in that rice until the peppers were softened, and then I added some liquid aminos to it. In another pan, I am getting some regular old vegetable oil heated up, and then I'm adding some sliced up, shredded, whatever you want to call it, red cabbage to this pan. We happen to have a head of red cabbage in the refrigerator, and my husband asked me to make it, so I am. And he added a good dollop of minced garlic to it, and all I did was give it a saute and just keep it moving until it was softened up some, and give it a little bit of salt. And this was actually really good as a little side dish. I put just a little splash of red wine vinegar on the cabbage, and then here I'm just adding the liquid aminos to our rice, and then of course I'm going to add some pepper. Now, this rice did not need any salt because the liquid aminos are kind of on the salty side. So all I did was let that rice cook down until it kind of actually started to brown up a little bit, and that was it. And so once the chicken was cooked, I just took it out of the oven and started to squeeze out the sauce on everything. And then once I got it all kind of all over the place, I made sure there was a good amount in the middle of the pan, and then just tossed that chicken all around in that sauce until it was all good and coated. After all the chicken chunks were coated with that spicy sauce, I just put it right back in the oven for a few minutes until it got heated through again and became nice and sticky. Here is my finished dinner plate. This was a super easy and actually really good dinner to have on a weeknight. The next dinner that I'm sharing was also another super easy and simple Crockpot meal. So I'm getting out our bigger Crockpot here. This was early in the morning before I went to work, and so I'm just putting the liner into the Crockpot just to make it easier to clean up when we're all done with our dinner. And I am just adding a family size package of beef stew meat. Next, I added 1 package of the savory herb and garlic soup mix and some dry brown gravy mix. And then after that, I am going to add some water, and I also added some chopped up onion. When my husband got home from work, he just boiled up some egg noodles, and then we added those right into the crock pot with the beef stew meat and a can of mushroom soup. And it was a very simple, quick and easy beef and noodles. We just had a salad to go with this, and it was an easy dinner that pretty much cooked itself. So I was very happy with that. And this is just one of those very satisfying comfort types of meals. And this was just one of those cold, rainy days, so beef and noodles really hit the spot. This is what I call one of those 2-bowl meals, and this is actually my husband's because I cannot eat salad, but you get the picture. And last but not least, it was my granddaughter's 10th birthday, and my son grilled hot dogs, and there was the typical birthday party food like cake and chips and all that good fun stuff. And that is all for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked it, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Bye for now.